Oh boy, strap in. It's going to be long. Got in the Discord, in the a lot of it. Northern Iron. Oh my days. Yet again, reference the chicken that is still not in the room with us. Magical, musical, mystery, knittle. Oh no, God. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Emily Knits channel. My name is Emily. I am a knitter and crocheter in my mid-30s, based in the north of Nottinghamshire in the UK, where I live with my husband and our 2 dogs close to Sherwood Forest. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, Ko-fi and email, all of which will be down below in the description box. If you want to reach out and connect with me on any of those methods, please feel free. We do also have a Discord as well, which I'll try and link down in the what on earth is it called? Description. It's going to be one of those episodes, guys. It's down in the description box below. I'm not always very good at linking the Discord because it seems to give like a limited time that you can do it. So I managed to work it out before. Hopefully I can do it again. That will be down there in the description. Again, Discord and description together just really, they break my brain apparently. But anyway, if you wanted to support the channel, you can either buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, which is down below, or I do have a Ravelry wishlist as well, which you can buy me a pattern from if you would like to. There is no obligation to. I'm so grateful for you if you ever do that, but there is absolutely no obligation to. You being here and just watching the video is perfectly fine. You know, you're more than welcome regardless. There are a couple of affiliate links down below as well if you choose to use those. And I think that's everything I needed to say up front. So we have a traditional format podcast today. It's been about 4 weeks since I've done one because usually I do them on alternating weeks. So every 2 weeks you get a podcast update. But 2 weeks ago we hit a milestone. We went over to 2,000 subscriber mark, which is absolutely mad to me. I'd said when I first put my first video out, I'd sort of said to myself, if 10 people watch this, great. And then when I started getting a little bit of traction, I sort of said to myself, maybe, you know, if I could get to 1,000 subscribers after the first year, that would be great. And that was in January. And I did. I got to 1,000 subscribers by January, which was fantastic. And then I sort of said to myself, okay, can I keep that trajectory going? Can I then, you know, by the time I've been on YouTube 2 years, can I have 2,000 subscribers, 3 years, 3,000, etc., so on and so forth? Because I intend to keep going with this because I very much enjoy it. And then lo and behold, 2 years doesn't come around until January, and in September we ticked over 2,000 subscribers, so we massively exceeded my expectations. Thank you so much. All of this is a bonus now. I mean, God, if we could get to 3,000 subscribers by the time we get to January, great, but I don't think we're going to do that. So that is, you know, let's not set unrealistic goals. I'm not going to change the target. I'm just going to be happy that 2,000 of you are here and come back, and I'm just so grateful for you. Anyway, so yeah. 2 weeks back we'd just gone over that, so I did a bit of a different video. We didn't ask me anything, which I think was something that we talked about doing before. And yeah, then last week was Yarndale, so I did a Yarndale vlog and haul. So it's been 4 weeks since my last podcast confession. I have a lot to talk about. I've got 4 finished objects. I've got a couple of new cast-ons. One's new, one is just basically brought back from the dead. You've not seen it on the podcast for ages. But has had some decent progress on it. And yeah, I think let's just get into it and get through it before I start waffling too much. Yeah, because I've got so much to talk about. I'm conscious that I don't want this to be a really long episode, even longer than mine usually are. So I will get into it without too much further ado. The one thing I did want to say is this isn't everything that I'm working on at the moment. So there might be things that I've mentioned in the previous podcast episodes, like my key sweater by Petite Knit, things like that, I haven't put in this episode just because I've already got so much to talk about. So I'll update you on other stuff next week or the week after, whenever. But yeah, let's jump into it. I have got a drink today. I've got a drink in this lovely mug, which is quite warm because it's an enamel mug. This first off felt very suitable because we're in October now. Oh, it's biscuit brewing, it's so good. Yeah, we're in October now. It very much feels autumnal. We are in the midst of I think we're at the tail end now of a named storm we've had this weekend in the UK. I think it might be the first named storm of the season, hence why the name begins with A. I think it was Storm Amy. The leaves are turning, and this was from the Blue Fern Yarns autumn solstice box, I think it was, something like that arrived. It arrived last month. It was pre-order and it arrived last month, and it had this really lovely Hello Pumpkin enamel mug in it, and I just thought this felt very fitting. So I've got a biscuit brew to keep me lubricated, to keep my throat sufficiently able to talk, and yeah, we'll jump into it. So I've got a lot of stuff around me already, but there are 2 finished objects that I don't have with me to talk to you about, so God, it's going to be a long one. Let's get those out of the way first. So the first finished object to talk about was the socks that I was sample knitting for Blue Fern Yarn. So I was knitting 2 pairs of socks for Blue Fern Yarn along with the mixed media shawl, which you'd already seen me finish, and that I'd gone back to her. I'd finished 1 pair of socks. They were just vanilla socks. They were using her My Shorty Socks pattern, which is a shorty sock pattern, as the name might suggest, but just lengthening the leg a little bit to 60 rounds, a lot of it, to turn it into a normal sock rather than a shorty sock. But I was knitting 2 pairs of those, one with her Gods and Goddesses sock club, which is the sock club she's been running all year in the colourway Pan, and another one in the colourway Poseidon. So I'd finished the Pan ones, which were greens. They were beautiful, very much my kind of colours. And I just started on the Poseidon ones, which were blues. And I finished those just in time to take them to Yarndale. I was taking them to Yarndale to take them back to her, and I finished them. We were going on Saturday morning, me and my mum, and I finished them on Friday night. So I did leave it till the last minute. Yeah, I had weeks to work on these, and I just procrastinated. But I got them done, and they went back, and she was very happy with them, so they were done. I do have a picture, which I might have put up already, which isn't great because I didn't block them. I blocked the first pair, and then I realised that because I was going to mention this actually. Somebody mentioned on my last podcast when I talked about these, about blocking socks, and basically said, what's the not what's the point, but what's the point, sort of. And I agree with that completely. I think socks block on your feet very well. The only times that I block socks are when I'm doing them for gifts, because they look a little bit nicer. And then when you gift them, they lay a bit flatter rather than sort of being scrunched up. Or when I'm sample knitting, for the same reasons, they look nicer. And because I'm not a huge fan of sock knitting, they are the main reasons why I sock knit, I gift knit and I sample knit. So I do most of the time block my socks because of that. But I do agree that if they're for yourself, you don't really need to block them. They will block on your feet just with the heat and the moisture. That's horrible, isn't it? But there is a bit of moisture is going to come out your skin. They will block to your feet as you wear them. So yeah, I blocked the first pair, again, because they look a bit better, and I was giving them back to a dyer as a sample. But I realised that I have a sock blocker that fits my feet. My feet are size 9 feet. I don't know what size Shannon's feet are, but I was knitting these socks way smaller than my feet, which was to her dimensions. Way smaller than my feet. So if I'd have put them on my sock blocker, I would have completely destroyed those socks. So I was able to wash them and lay them flat, but it didn't give that nice sort of finished look anyway. And I figured that she was probably going to need to reblock them herself if she wanted to, because I think she's using them as a display sample. So yeah, I didn't block the second pair. So all that to say, I'll have put the picture up, but they don't look great in the picture because they weren't blocked. They're all scrunched up. Anyway, they were done. They went back. And then the second sample was, I don't think I took any pictures of this, so I think I might need to put up a picture, which is actually from the dyer's social media, which is, I made the Lace and Fade Boxy, which is a pattern by Joji Locatelli for Irish Artisan Yarns, who is Tara McCartney, a Northern Ireland based knitter. She is a knitter, but she's a dyer as well, and she does beautiful hand dyed yarns. And I was knitting this in 2 of her yarns. One was, so the main colour, I guess, the main body colour was her merino silk bamboo base in Murano was the colourway, and the other was the mohair in the shade fuchsia, which was a kid silk mohair. And it was beautiful. It was really fun to knit, really enjoyable. I knit size 4. It only took 2 skeins of the main colour and 1 and a bit of the mohair. So it's very yarn economical, weirdly, which I didn't expect. The pattern obviously suggests 4 full skeins, because you might have got from the name of it, the idea is that you're fading, so you'd have 4 different colours to fade between in your stripes. But because I was doing this for Tara in 1 solid colour, it didn't use up anywhere near that amount of yarn. I guess the pattern tells you that much because you need 4 colours, so you need 4 skeins to be able to do your fade. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, it was actually quite economical on yarn, and it actually really wasn't that arduous to knit. It is a big wide body, and I think if I was just doing the plain boxy, because that is a purely stockinette pattern, I think that would have been challenging. But with the lace panels, they broke it up really easily. I was on 3.5mm needles to get gauge, and I did block that one. That was a garment, so I did block that. But that went back. I actually spotted it at Yarndale, so I took some footage of it while we were at Yarndale, and then on the second day at Yarndale she was wearing it. She had said she was going to wear it, but I think on the first day when I went and spoke to her at the stall, it was just too cold basically, so she had one of her other jumpers on, and then the second day she was actually wearing it at Yarndale, which made me really, really happy. So yeah, very pleased with that. I'm going to be doing another sample for Tara in the future. She's just sort of picking patterns and colours and things, but I've said I would very much be happy to sample knit for her again. I had a lot of fun doing it. So that's my first 2 finished objects. The next 2, first off, let's yet again reference the chicken that is still not in the room with us. I still haven't finished my emotional support chicken for my husband. I don't know what it is about it. I'm just not getting the urge to pick it up. I will do it at some point. It won't even take me that long to finish, but I will do it at some point. I've got a lot of other stuff that's taking my attention more. But 2 things that you haven't seen that I cast on and finished since we spoke last. So the first one is a Musselburgh pattern so this is a pattern by Isolde Teague. My husband picked some yarn that he wanted me to make him a hat out of. He was quite sweet. He was being quite subtle about it. He said, how much? Look at all these lovely colours. He'd seen adverts for it. Let me start again. So this yarn is from Arcane Fiberworks, believe it or not. So they're a Canadian-based dyer. They are very heavily advertising recently on social media. On Facebook, I see them a lot. I see them on Instagram as well. So clearly they're paying quite heavy to advertise. And he had seen those as well because he's bought yarn for me in the past. He sent me links to yarn and things like that. So he does get those kind of ads. So he'd seen them and he was very, very taken with their colours. And he picked this particular colour, which is Eyes of the Oracle. Yeah, Eyes of the Oracle. That's the tag. And that, oops, I don't know if that's their logo. The Oracle is supposed to be this barn owl, so I'm pretty certain that is specific to this colourway. He was very taken with this. So he asked me how many skeins of worsted weight, he asked initially, would I need to make him a hat? And I said, looking at the yardage, probably 2, and that's quite expensive, isn't it? So I said, well, you could, if you get me the fingering weight, I can make you a hat out of that. So he now has been educated about yarn weights and what they're good for, because he does listen. He absolutely does listen and take it in. But yeah, he bought this skein. When it arrived, it didn't take long it took about 10 days to arrive. I think it turned out about £18 GBP, so quite cheap actually for hand dyed yarn. I think it was like $22 or $24. It turned out about £18. It is a 80/20 merino and nylon superwash yarn. It is 400 meters per 100 grams, and say this is Eyes of the Oracle. It is beautifully soft. There was no shipping to pay on it. We had no duties on it. Obviously, it's not somewhere I'm going to order from super regularly because of the carbon footprint of having it shipped. But this is such a gorgeous colour. And yeah, he was very, very happy with it. I don't know if it's intended to be self-striping, but because I've done it in a Musselburgh because of the circumference it has. But he adores this thing. It's incredibly soft because it's an 80/20 base. And it didn't take me very long to knit. So I have made one of these before. You've seen me make these on the channel. In fact, let me show you what it looks like first, because it is a very nice hat. So I made one of these before for my dad, and I made the adult large, and I did it on a 3mm needle, and I had very small gauge. I had like 9 stitches per inch or something, which is like the smallest gauge that you can do in the pattern. So if you've not made a Musselburgh hat before, the idea is that you cast on and you start knitting, and you start at one point and you start increasing down, and when you've got enough gauge to measure an inch, you measure when you've got enough knitting to measure your gauge on 1 inch, you measure that and you see how many stitches you've got per inch, and then you go and look at the pattern and say, okay, well, I've got 9 stitches per inch, I want to make this size, and it'll tell you how many stitches you need to increase by to make that size. And I'd done, with my dad, I'd done the adult large on 3mm needles, and I had really small gauge, nine stitches, like I say. I think it was 9, it was whatever it was the smallest possible in the pattern. And I very nearly ran out of yarn, and what I found I had was a hat that was a bit too loose and not really deep enough. It didn't have a deep enough brim for my preference. So I'd said what I would do if I was going to do it again was I would go down, up a needle size, 3.5mm, and down a pattern size, because the hat was also too wide. So this is a much better fit. I could probably go down again actually, but it's a nice fit as it is. Yeah, the difference that made was massive. So first off, this knit up way quicker. Oh god. This knit up way quicker. It took me less than a week. In fact, I think it might have been bang on a week from when the yarn. No, it was a week from when the yarn arrived, but I didn't cast it on initially. I didn't cast it on until Saturday evening. So I finished it on Wednesday and I cast it on Saturday. So it was 5 days to knit one of these. It went so much quicker. My gauge on 3.5mm needles was 7 stitches. So it meant that I was doing a smaller size and I had a bigger gauge. So it took less time for me to get through those increases. And then I was just flying. I was just flying down the length of the hat. So the idea of the Musselburgh, if you've not seen one before, is you knit a very big tube of fingering weight. You start at one end, you do a little pinhole cast on, you increase out until you get to the point at which it tells you to in the pattern. Then you knit a big stockinette tube until you get to the point where you start decreasing down. And you do the same on, basically you mirror it on the other side. You decrease down, you can see my decrease rows there, until you get to a certain number of stitches and you bind off. And then one side, this is nice and easy now because it's been kept like that for ages, one side goes inside the other. So you end up with a double thickness hat, and you can fold the brim up. That's not perfectly, that's better. And then you can fold the brim up at the bottom. If I was going to do it, I got a little bit of yarn left over. If I was going to do it again, I would add a bit of more length to the middle because I could have had a deeper brim. But he loves it. He's worn this pretty much every day since I finished it. Certainly for, maybe not initially because it was quite warm, but in the sort of couple of weeks after that, the weather's really taken a turn, and pretty much every morning on the dog walks this has been worn. Pretty much every day when he goes to work this has been worn. He absolutely loves it. The colours are gorgeous. You can sort of see there, I think there's sort of light blues, there's browns, there's sort of like almost like ashy greeny colours in it. It's really lovely, and the yarn is so soft. So soft, particularly if you're Canadian based. If you're based in the UK and you want to try it, honestly, it took about 10 days to arrive, so it wasn't super quick, but we were all very used to it being Amazon, aren't we, and stuff arriving very quickly. For a hand-dyed product coming from overseas, I don't think that's that bad at all. They've got such a really interesting range of colours, and this yarn is so soft. So yeah, very, very pleased with this. Didn't spend long on the needles at all. And yeah, one 100 gram skein basically came in and went straight out again, which I was very pleased with. And then I had the hat bug completely. So I wanted to make a hat for myself, but I didn't settle on a Musselburgh. There is, I was going to say, there is a little bit of pilling. I don't know if you can see that, but it's had everyday wear and it really doesn't look bad. Yeah, I was bitten by the hat bug. I didn't initially want to do another Musselburgh straight away, having just done one. Because I tell you what, that middle bit where you've just knit in the big long tube is long. It takes a long time to get to that point. But one of my friends was making the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. She was making herself quite a few of them. And watching her knit it and looking at the construction, I bought the pattern previously. I knew I had, but I'd never made one. And watching her make it, I just was like, okay, that's a really interesting construction. I want to try that. So I made myself an Oslo hat. Let me pop it on again. So this one is mine. The other one is my husband's, obviously. And this, yeah, I absolutely love this. This is so nice. I struggle a little bit with my glasses because of how they sit on it, so I have to adjust about a little bit, but I really do love it. It's so nice and warm and cozy, and I think I can see the hype of this. A, it's a really nice construction. It's really fun to knit. Is that just my eye? Yeah, it's just my eyebrow. B, it fits really nicely and it just looks really classic and stylish, the same as the Musselburgh. It's the same kind of look, isn't it? This sort of, if I'd done this in a solid colour, it would look very similar to this. But I'm so happy with the yarn combo with it and everything. I'm just really pleased with this. it wasn't my favourite pattern to follow, but I think one of the benefits, and I can maybe see this, that I hadn't considered this before, is that because so many people have knit these patterns, I was able to reach out to 2 of my friends if I had problems, because I know they've made multiple of them before. There are also lots of little shorts and tutorials that people have done of certain techniques, not the whole thing obviously, but how do you do this bit, how do you do that bit. So yeah, very happy with it. So I used, that's a really good representation of the colour. This yarn is absolutely gorgeous. I used some lovely yarn from Eula at Wool and Twine Fibre Studio. This was a Christmas present from my husband last year. I'd asked for a couple of skeins from her and he got me 1 skein of DK and 1 skein of fingering. This is the DK. So this is her BFL and Romney DK base. It's 75% Romney, 25% brown blueface Leicester. The colourway is fennel, that's quite accurate. It's a really light greeny colour, but it's almost like a light olivey green, olivey beigey green. It's definitely got a green hue to it, but it is an overall very neutral sort of straw-like colour almost. It's so good on me. And it's soft without being soft like this. It's not superwash. It's rustic without being itchy. I wear this on my, I've got my fringe, haven't I? But I don't get, let me see if I can properly, I'm going to look really silly with my fringe out of the way, but let me see. Yeah, so I've got my fringe out of the way. There's no itch on my forehead. There's no itch on my forehead at all. I can feel that wool is directly touching skin, but there is absolutely no itch on my forehead. And I just, yeah, it's so soft. It's a combination of soft and rustic and warm and toothy. Really, really nice base. Really nice base. And beautiful colour as well. So very, very pleased with this. And it was really fun to knit. There is one thing I'm slightly disappointed in myself with, and this is my own fault. So I found the pattern a little bit hard to read in terms of working out yardages. So the idea of the pattern is that you hold 2 strands of fingering weight together to make a DK weight. The problem is, I could be wrong on this, this is what I'm remembering, but I certainly found it hard. She just tells you how many skeins of Santa's Garden Sunday, I think one of them is, you will need to make this. And most of the patterns would tell you you will need this many skeins of this or this many meters of a DK weight yarn. But she doesn't, because it's supposed to be 2 strands of fingering held together. So I found it quite hard to work out how many meters I was going to need, and I was a bit concerned I was going to be playing yarn chicken, because my friend Mona, who was making a lot of them, had said that she had basically, it wasn't 1 skein of 100 grams she had found wasn't quite enough. This is quite a big skein, so 100 grams is 240 meters, so it gives about 20 meters extra than a normal DK weight skein would. But I was worried about it, so I started off with a strip of something different. So essentially the way that this works is you cast on, and you cast on here. This sounds really weird, but you cast on here and you knit a big long strip, and then basically once you get to a certain depth, you knit the cast on together with your live stitches, and it creates this fold. So this bit here is double thickness. I don't know if you can sort of see that there, it's folded around. And then you continue knitting basically upwards from there with a little panel of pearls, because that makes it sit nicely when it flips up. That makes it flip up really nicely. The pearls sit on the inside. Well, they're not pearls there. This is the inside of the stockinette for the hat, and this is the inside of those pearls, and they make it sit flat. Yeah, I'm not explaining it very well, but you know what I mean. So so the bit that you cast on is hidden inside of that fold. So I started there with that, and I only did 10 rows, but I needn't have worried because I had a little bit left over, and if I was going to go back and do it again, I wouldn't have bothered with that. But I didn't know that that was going to be the case, and to change that I would have had to have literally ripped out the entire thing to come back to this very bit at the beginning, and I wasn't going to do that. So yeah, you don't see it. You don't feel any difference of it. So that's a really good thing to note. If you haven't got, don't mind my ends that I haven't woven in yet, if you haven't got enough to fully do one, but you're close, you can hide some scrap in there, and it doesn't matter. The other thing I did differently is, particularly it doesn't instruct you to do this, she just instructs you to cast on as normal and knit and then just sew them together, I think, or pick up and knit from the cast on. I did a provisional cast on to make it a bit easier, so I did a crochet cast on so that when it came to sewing them together, I could just undo my crochet cast on, put it back on some spare needles and just knit 2 together through them. So I found that a lot easier, and I would definitely do that again. I don't like picking up from a cast on edge very much. Oh God, these ends, I'm sorry. I don't notice it when I wear them because they're tucked in there and that gets tucked inside and you just can't tell. But yeah, so pleased with this. Both of these have been worn, certainly in the last couple of weeks, they've been worn regularly. And yeah, you can't see any signs of wear on that at all. It's really nice and warm and cozy and lovely. So yeah, 2 finished hats, and I'm going to touch briefly on a plan because I've wound my yarn up for it. I enjoyed knitting the Oslo. The Oslo is very satisfying to knit. I don't know if it's because of the way that you knit it, because it's just all stockinette in the round, but then there's bits of interest that make it interesting. Bits of interest are going to do that, aren't they? But I decided that I was going to make one for my dad for Christmas, so I got some yarn from Yarndale. I've just caked it up and it's ready to go. This was an Irish Artisan yarn from her bargain bucket, 100% Merino DK superwash, and it was just in the colourway one of a kind, but it's a really nice sort of emeraldy green that I think will look lovely. So I'm very keen to cast that on and make another Oslo hat. Okay. 25 minutes in and I've only just finished talking about my finished objects. Oh boy, strap in, it's going to be long. Okay, whips. Let's get 2 big ones out the way and then we can talk about small ones. Okay, so big beast. I've been making a, what's it called? Pheasant Hunt cardigan by Mary Maxim. This is the picture. This is I think it's a book. I'm pretty certain it's from like 1969, something like that. This is a bulky weight cardigan pattern with intarsia pheasants on it, and my husband saw it and asked for one, basically. So I've been knitting one. I've got all sorts of bits of yarn attached. Let me show you. So last time I spoke to you, I'm pretty certain I had finished both sleeves. So these are the sleeves with these pheasant details on them and the bits at the bottom. I had started the the first front, but I hadn't got very far. So I've now entirely finished the first front and we have a lovely dog on it. I'm really pleased with this dog. I think he looks great. And I've actually blocked this because I wanted to see how it worked out when it's blocked. So this has been blocked and you can see just how it's, can you see? I think you can. It's all evened out. It's evened out really nicely. It grew a bit and that's what I wanted to check, is if it was going to grow. We've got a pocket there. The pocket needs seaming in at the back. I've got just a big hole currently, but we've got a pocket lining there ready to seam in, and we've got the front done. So this is this front, right front. So this is going to go like this. It's long on me, but I've put it on him and it fits really nicely. And then I've started the left front. Oh, I'm going to lose my entire bag. Started the left front, just have the bottom. I am literally about, the next row is where I need to bind off stitches for the pocket, and I need to go and do the pocket lining. So that's why I've paused, just because it's a little bit of faffing about with needles to do that. But yeah, this is gonna, that basically, oops. The front, when I sat down and worked on it, I think when we spoke last time, I just started doing these feet for the dog. And I sat down and worked on it and I got through the intarsia quite quickly, and then the rest of the stockinette, because it's on 6mm needles with Aran weight yarn, it's a big gauge, it flew. I did this in the rest of this in a day, and then I did most of this in the same day. So it doesn't take me long. I am using entirely Drops Alaska, which is 100% wool, and I'm using it in 7 different colours, which I cannot remember the names of, but I have popped them all on Ravelry, so I will link that below so that you can go and have a look. I'm very pleased with this dog. I think he looks great. I just think he looks absolutely fab. And on the right front, there's going to be a hunter. So the dog, there's a hunter, and I think there's a little pheasant maybe somewhere as well. I think the dog's supposed to be looking at the pheasant. So there's that to do. And then on the back, there is a massive, massive detailed intarsia pheasant. You can sort of see it there, I think. Yeah, so there's a dog and a hunter on the front, and then this pheasant on the back, which is very big. and has all 7 of the colours in it. So that's going to be fun. But whenever I work on this, I genuinely really enjoy it. It's just that I've got deadline projects, so I just need to pick it up and crack on with it. I say that every time we talk about it. But I love the yarn. I'm enjoying the pattern, albeit intarsia is not, let's not talk about my ends. Intarsia is not easy. And I particularly found these bits difficult because this is actually what it instructs you to do in the pattern. It's stranded colour work for these bits and then intarsia for the dog. But you can see there are bits where you are doing stranded colour work and intarsia at the same time, which is challenging. So yeah, I'm pleased with how it looks and how I've done on that. Albeit, say, this was brand new to me. It's the first time I've ever done intarsia, so this has had quite a lot of work on it. And yeah, I would like to get this finished in the not too distant future. The next front shouldn't take me long. This took a couple of days, so this shouldn't take me long. The back's going to be harder. It's a bigger piece and there's a lot more intarsia in it as well. But then once that's done, they all go together and I put a collar on it, so it's really not going to take very long, I don't think. Famous last words. But yeah, I'm pleased with my little dog. I think he looks great. So that's where we're at with that. Did I say 6mm needles for the main body, 4.5mm needles for the ribbon? I did now. And then the next big project. No, we'll touch on this one first. This is in a really difficult place to show you. This is my Lucy cardigan test knit for the Knit Pearl Girl. It's on short needles and there's lots of little bits on needles, so it's going to be in a really difficult place to show you. I am not at all far off joining for under the arms. I'm going to be a little bit behind the test knit deadline, but not super far behind. It finishes, I think, later this month. I'm not going to be super far behind, especially not with, I'm going to be able to do all the detailed, complicated bits. And then just give Sophie the sort of feedback. So yeah, it's quite hard to see. This has a texture to it. Yeah, I've picked the wrong yarn for this. In person, the texture is actually quite visible, but on camera, for whatever reason, that colour of the yarn just really, really overwrites the texture. So I'll pop a picture of it on screen, but it's got these lovely wide stockinette details that the stitches come out of and things like that. And that's your back panel, so you can see a bit more the sort of overall look. It's really hard to show, not helped by the fact that it's on short needles, like I say, but also because, yeah, whilst it looks good in person, on camera that yarn just completely wipes away the texture. So I'm not going to spend too much time going into detail on this. I'm using Woolcraft Esteem DK, which is a really budget friendly yarn. I believe it's a polyester, acrylic and cotton recycled blend, I think. I'll put the details on screen. And I'm really enjoying working with it, and much as this doesn't really do it any justice, it does look lovely, and there are a lot of different colours in this, so I will definitely be trying this again because I'm very much enjoying it. I'm hoping to see how it wears. I don't think it'll pill, but I think there's there is a possibility, isn't there? But yeah, you can't really see the texture. But this is where this is at. This is coming with us. So next week I'm travelling for work for a few days, and that's not coming with me, just small projects. Probably my dad's Oslo is going to go with me because I'm not going to have a huge amount of space. But then at the end of the week we go away on holiday for a week and a bit. The dog's coming, we're going to a little Airbnb in the UK, and I'm going to be taking some knitting with me, and I'm going to be taking you with me. I'm going to do a podcast from there as well, but that is very definitely going to be coming because I've got images of working on this in the cottage that we're going to, because I've been there before. We've been to this particular place before, just sitting and listening to the sea, listening to the waves lapping, and this particular project just sitting and working on. So this is definitely coming. Now we'll do the big one. This has had a lot of work on it since you last saw it. I think when you last saw this, I just joined under the arms. So this is my White Day cardigan by Maya Diglon, who is Maya Tinks on YouTube and Instagram. And this is now much further on than it was when you last saw it. Oh gosh. So I have finished the body, as you can see. I've done my folded hem at the bottom, which is flipping a little bit because it's not blocked yet, but I think will lay lovely and flat. I've also done all of the double knit button band. Look at me go. All of my double knit button band, which I'm very pleased with. And I've picked up and started for my first sleeve. This is one evening of work on the sleeve. It's got a short row sleeve cap, so it comes out the top. But yeah, this was one evening of work yesterday. It isn't going to take me super long to finish the rest, and then I've just got to do the other sleeve and we're done. The pattern has a tuck detail on the sleeve. Maya's version does, and some of the testers have done that, but she does include options for if you don't want to include the tuck detail. So basically what I should have is a tuck detail round here that goes all the way around the edge of the sleeve. I did knit that. I got to about this same point, actually, a little bit less than this, but I got to about this same point on the sleeve. I put it on and I sent a picture to my friend Leah of the Ruby and Pearls podcast, because she was also test knitting this with me. She's finished hers, of course, because she's a super quick knitter. But I sent it to her and I just said, my face says it all, and it did. I just didn't like it. I think it's because I'm making this a bit oversized. So I'm knitting this in size 6, which I should be size 5, I think, in Maya's patterns. But I'm making this one a bit oversized, and I think because of that, it meant that you can see where it would have been. The tuck was a little bit too far down my arm, and it was sitting away. It looked a bit strange. However, how good does that look without it? It just looks like a really big, cozy, comfy cardigan, and it's lovely. That's exactly what it is. It needs blocking. No blocking isn't going to be, because so I'm using a gigantic ball of Wendy Aran with wool. So this is, I haven't got the ball band here. I think it's a 75% acrylic, 25% wool blend. There are loads of brands that do these big balls. It comes in 400 gram balls, which is like 800 meters of yarn. And there are loads of different brands that do these. They're very budget friendly usually as well. These Wendy ones are like £11-12 for 400 grams, so it's very cost effective. But they're not all made equal. I've had some from, I think it was Hayfield, and I didn't really like them. The Stylecraft ones are nice. I've used the Stylecraft ones. The James C. Brett ones have I used? I think I did, and that was quite nice. I just didn't like the colour, so I sent it back. But these ones, the Wendy ones, I love. They're really, really nice. They don't feel super acrylic-y. They don't feel squeaky. They feel like they've got more wool in them than I think they feel like they've got more wool in them than they have. But because of that, I know that it's not going to block exactly how 100% wool would. I think I will get a little bit of evening out from it and flattening out, but I'm confident with how everything's sitting at the moment that will be enough to just let it relax and let it fit really, really nicely. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this. This is going to get a lot of wear when it's finished. And again, this is going to be coming with us to our little holiday in the UK, because it's not going to take me much longer to finish. I've got this, say, one sleeve and then another to do. And yeah, I will be done. And I'm very happy with it. I love the colour. This is the colourway Pine. And I think this is really, really, really suits me. This sort of deep green. It actually looks really nice over the top of this jumper, which I didn't expect because it's a jumper. But because it's big and it's oversized. Where's my... There. Big and oversized. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this is fitting. I can't wait to have this finished. I think it's a beautiful pattern. So yeah, this is going to get worked on this afternoon, and it's not going to take me long to finish. I really love this bit at the back. Let me get that end out of the way so you can see. So you start here, you cast on initially here, and you work the one side of the back, and then you come and pick up on there, and you work your saddles, but you join the saddles in the middle at the back rather than usually a saddle shoulder. You have your saddles, usually saddle shoulders, you'd have two saddles here. But this one has your saddles here that then go around your back and join in the back. And I think that looks really, really nice on the back. That detail I think is really lovely. So yeah, very, very happy with this. I've currently used, I think, about 350 grams of yarn. So just under one ball, but I have broken into the second ball because I had started using that first ball for something else. And rather than unwinding it, I just broke it off and started knitting. So yeah, one ball is entirely gone. And the other is I think down to about 350 grams. Still literally as big as my head. So yeah, this is large. This is why this is not coming anywhere with me other than it's coming on holiday, like I say, but it's not coming on my work travel because this would be basically like most of my luggage space taken up with this one project. Okay. Two last things to show you. Is that it? Yeah. 2 last things to show you. I'm going to have a drink because I feel like I'm losing my voice a bit. So one of them is Revived from the Dead. I mentioned this in my autumn knitting plans that I really wanted to crack on with these. These are some gloves that I'm knitting for my husband. I've done one. I just never got around to doing the second. I really hate knitting gloves. Really, really dislike knitting gloves. It's a good job I love him. However, I think if he asked me for gloves again, I might be like, look, I'll buy you some. Or I'll pay for somebody to make you some. So I'm making, these are the very basic Dancing at Lunasa gloves by Anne Carol Gilmore. Is that right? Yeah. They are just a very basic free pattern on Ravelry. I need to close up that little hole there, don't worry about that, for adults stockinette gloves. That was what he wanted. He wanted some plain, fairly form-fitting gloves that he could wear under. He's got some sealskins, which are waterproof gloves, but he wanted something warm to go underneath them because they keep his hands dry, but they don't keep his hands particularly warm. So I made one glove for him last year, and I think when I showed you it before, I had maybe about that much of the cuff on the second one, and I was determined after I'd finished those hats, I was determined to finish these firstly because he wants the gloves, he wants to be able to wear the gloves, but also because I wanted to knit another hat, but I wanted to finish off this accessory that I've already got on the needles first. So over the last sort of couple of weeks, I've been picking these up and putting a bit of work in, and we now have much more than we did. You can actually sort of see, if I turn it this way, I'm going to be able to show you at least. Can you see there's a line of stitches that are a bit weird? That's where I was, so that's how much I had. So I picked it up and I've knit all the way up the cuff, and I'm most of the way up the hand as well. I'm not super far off splitting for the thumb, putting the thumb on hold. So you come up here, you do a load of increases for your thumb, you put your thumb stitches on hold, knit a little bit further, and then start working your fingers basically. The fingers are so fiddly. I'm on DPNs, which I don't enjoy at all. I just do not like DPNs. But yeah, I've not got super far to go before I am ready to bind off the thumb stitches, or to put the thumb stitches on hold and then work the rest of the mitten. They're so hard to show because of the weird little triangle thing. I did have 5 of these and they were a bit easier on 5, but have I got 5 anymore? Nope, I've lost one of them somewhere. These are just on 2.75 millimetre. Are they 2.75? Yeah, 2.75 mil DPNs from Knit Pro. And I'm using, this was yarn that he chose, I'm using World of Wool Fluff. They have this in a DK and a fingering weight. I think they ship internationally. They certainly ship everywhere in the UK, but I think they ship internationally, and they're a very budget friendly yarn. This is World of Wool Fluff 100% Merino 4-ply. They do have this in a DK, like I said. This is in the shade Fuzzy Duck. You see there? And it is a very bright mustardy yellow. He chose this. It is a lovely, lovely colour. It's a nice soft, it's definitely not super wash, but it is a soft merino yarn. I quite like it. I've got some in a different colour to make him a jumper or something out of. And I'm just about to use up the first 50 gram ball. So it comes in 50 gram balls, which are 175 metres. That's a light DK, that's a light fingering, isn't it? Sorry, a heavy fingering. And I've got 2 more, which I don't need because I'm gonna need one of them. But then what I thought is whatever's left is I could actually maybe use with that other colour that I've got, which is a really light grey, and I could do some colour work maybe for him. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, about to use up the first one, and I've got the hand and all 5 fingers to do. I hate working gloves. Gloves are not something that I would ever choose to do myself. This is the second pair I've knit, both for him, and I'm good for not doing them again after this, honestly. I know he'll love them, I know he'll wear them. Just not fun, just not fun. Anyway, okay, so that's that one. I'm hoping by the next time we speak, this will be done. I was working on this yesterday and I was only about here. So I got most of the hand done yesterday. I'm going to keep working on it today. Again, if they're not done, they will be coming with us when we go away. I'm not taking these as travel because I just won't work on them. I know I won't. And if I'm on a train, because I'm going on Eurostar for my travels, if I'm on a train and I lose a needle and it goes underneath the seat, I'm not getting it back, am I? So DPN's not ideal for travel, but they're going to come with us to our little seaside getaway. I'm determined they will get finished quite quickly. Okay, and then last but not least is maybe something to give a bit of a spoiler for. I don't know what the rules are around that. Rules that we've made up. I have decided for the first time ever to join in the Westknits Mystery Knit Along. I have thoughts about this, but I thought I'd show you where I'm at first. So this is your warning. If you were participating in the Westknits Mystery Knit Along and you don't want to see anything about Clue 1, I haven't finished it. That's part of my thoughts. But if you don't want to see my progression, what the progress I've made, where I'm at on it, what it's looking like, this is your warning to look away. I've left it till the end. So there's no other projects for me to talk to you about afterwards. So if you want to leave, thank you very much for being here. It's been great to have you if you don't want to see this. But that was your time to look away. I am now going to show where I'm at with my Clue 1 of the Westknits Mystery Knit Along, which is the Mystery MKAL, is that right? MKAL mystery? God knows. Okay, there are many ends and there are many bits of yarn attached to this actually as well. So, last chance. Look away now. Okay. If you're here, I'm assuming you're going to hold your peace at least. So, this is where I'm at. This is so hard to show. It looks like nothing. I'm giving all these spoiler alerts, and actually, can you tell what that is? No. So yeah, I've decided to join in the magical musical mystery knittal. Oh no, God, mystery musical. So if you are unaware, because I was until 3 or 4 years ago as well, Stephen West is he's a knitwear designer. I pause because I feel like that he's very innovative in what he does, isn't he? Let's be honest. He makes designs that I think are very different to what anybody else does, particularly in terms of shawls. And every year for, I don't know how long, but I've been aware of it for 4 years. He does, in October, he does a mystery knit-along. Shawl mystery knit-along. He does sock ones as well at different points in the year, but I think the one he's most well known for is the shawl mystery knit-along. The idea is that you get 4 clues over 4 weeks. You get 4 clues over 4 weeks, and you keep up with the clues, and you knit this massive shawl at the end of it. The previous years that I've been aware of have been shawlography was the first one I was mostly aware of. I really liked that one. Twists and Turns was the next one. Didn't like that one. Geogradient was the one after that. Didn't like that either. There was also some controversy around that initially. And the 4th one was Go Go Dynamo, which I did really like, and I do actually have the pattern for that. I didn't buy it as part of the MKAL. I bought it after the fact. I would like to make that. So because I've had such a hit and miss relationship with them, I decided that I was going to wait for Clue 1 to come out and see if I liked it. And if I did, then I was going to go buy the pattern, because he does video tutorials alongside the actual paid for pattern. You do, I think, need the paid for pattern regardless, because you need the full instructions, but he shows all of these techniques and tutorials, and then at the end you can then fast forward to the end of that and you can see what the clue looks like, and you can decide if you like it or not, which is what I did. And I decided that actually I liked it enough. I thought it was very reminiscent of Go Go Dynamo in many ways, or some of the techniques in Go Go Dynamo, and I liked that a lot. So I decided I was going to do it. And I have finished, so you do multiple of these scallops, he calls them. And I finished my first one, which is a mix of garter, these welts, some brioche, and some, oh my days, some eyelets at the bottom there. I'm going to stop showing this because it's really hard to show, but I'll show you my colours. So these are my colours that I chose. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're my colours. Oh my God, really hard to show you. So, let me show you one by one. We have, this is my colour. Is it colour A? My main colour, the one that I've chosen for my main colour. This is Symphony Yarns, which I think is Knit Pro Symphony Yarns. Terra, which is their fingering weight base. It's a superwash sock yarn in the shade Wilderness. It's a really nice greens, browns, olivey colours. Very me, very me. And then the other 3 are actually Blue Fern yarns again. So this one, oh, which is attached, don't do that. This one is from her Dionysus Sock Club. This is the main colour from that. It had a little pinky purpley mini with it, but this is the main colour. So that's my colour B, I think. I can't remember. And then the other 2 are both from the aforementioned autumn box that I mentioned, the autumn solstice box. So I got my box on the sock base. I know a few people have used these colours and they got them on the yak base, and they look quite different on the yak base. But I got mine on the sock base, and we have the shade Hello Pumpkin and Harvest. Apologies if you can hear that. Somebody just knocked on my neighbour's door and the dog's going mental. Their dogs are going mental. Yeah, Harvest is a really nice, almost like goldy colour with some red, gold, green, brown, orange flecks in it. It's lovely. And then Hello Pumpkin is very definitely pumpkiny orange colour. Dionysus is purples. There is some oranges and browns and beiges and things in there, so they do go really nicely together, I think, certainly. And it has created a very autumnal palette, and I'm very pleased with how it's coming out. Yeah, I have thoughts. I said I'd go through my thoughts, didn't I? I kind of get the hype to an extent. I have very much enjoyed how engaging it is, how many different techniques he puts in there, but how he talks you through them, how well thought out it is, how considered, and say that it is engaging. It really is engaging. The things that I am finding less enjoyable, I cannot do this when I'm watching anything else or doing anything else. I love to be able to do something. I'll be watching something, I'll be listening to something. Sometimes I can read and knit on my Kindle, albeit that has to be pure stockinette in the round. I can't even purl and knit. I need to be just doing just knit stitch. I can't do anything else while I'm working on MKAL. I have to be paying attention to that, because the moment I'm not, the moment I mess up. And I just do not think, for me personally, I think I'm quite a quick knitter. I don't think I'm the fastest out there. I've got friends who are much faster than me. And I know I have a lot of different projects on the go at any one time. So I know that's a part of it. But I don't think I'm a slow knitter by any means. And I don't think there is any way that I could keep up with that, doing that every week. You need to do, I think for clue 1, you've got to do like 7 of these scallops all joined together. The clues come out on Thursday. We're on Sunday. I've done 1 and a bit. There is no way I can keep up with it. There just isn't. And I think if you work full time, or work really any amount, I think you would struggle. I think if you've got kids, if you've got other commitments, if you've got other things that you're working on, I just don't think there's any way that I would be able to keep up with it. And I'd say there is no way I can. So I've straight away said to myself, if I'm doing this under my own speed, and I'm not going to finish it within the 4 weeks, but I'm going to say that to myself now, so I'm not pushing myself to try and finish it within the 4 weeks. I don't know how people do it, but I am very pleased how it's coming out. So you can sort of see there, the green is the sort of the overarching colour, and that is the symphony yarns. These welts are harvest. The orange in there is Hello Pumpkin, and then you can't see it very well yet, but that Dionysus is in there with the brioche. You can see it if I turn to the back. That's the Dionysus there. But he does say in his sort of intro about choosing colours that this colour, that Dionysus colour, is going to have a bit of a solo moment, he calls it, further down in the shawl. So yeah, I think you've got to do 7 of these for the first week. There's no way I'm going to get that done. And the only way I've been able to do this and enjoy it is to, like I say, completely take that pressure off myself from the start and say, right, well, I'm not doing it within that deadline. But I have enjoyed the community aspect of it as well. 2 out of 3 of my close sort of knitting friends are doing it. We've all got very different colours. Although saying that, 2 people that I know are using this Harvest and Hello Pumpkin, but because we've combined it with different colours, and because mine was on the sock base and theirs is on the yak base, it looks completely different. I do think it's going to be a beautiful autumnal coloured shawl when I finish, and it is going to be a bit of a masterpiece because of the nature of what it's going to look like, because his patterns are so different than anything else. So I think it's going to be lovely, but I am very, very much keen to not put pressure on myself. I'm not following the hashtags online. I'm not looking at other people's comparisons, to allow myself to just work through it at my pace and enjoy it, rather than, oh my God, I must keep up. I'm getting close to the deadline. Everybody else is finished. And yeah, I just don't want it to be that. So I'm being very careful for it to not be that. And if I don't finish it, I don't finish it. It's absolutely fine. I'd like to, because I'm having fun and I think the colours go really nicely together. But yeah, that will come with us on holiday. But yeah, it's absolutely not travel knitting. 4 skeins for starters it's not doable. I can't do that and travel. But also, I wouldn't be able to work on that on a train. I wouldn't be able to work on that in my hotel room. I need to be able to concentrate completely. So yeah, enjoying it, but under certain circumstances. Okay, the voice is starting to give out. I can feel it. It's sore. So we're going to leave it there. I do have other things I've been working on, like I say, but these are the main things I wanted to talk to you about and show you. And we're already nearly at an hour, so I'm not going to go into any more detail about any other things, but I will be back next week with a video from our little Airbnb, like I say. I think to keep us on track, I'm probably just going to do another podcast episode, which I wouldn't normally do, but I might do the next 3 as podcasts. That will be a little bit different because I'll put a little bit of blog footage in as well. Vlog footage in as well. But, and my mum as well. So, yeah. Okay, that's enough waffle. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. And I will see you on the next one. Have a great afternoon, evening, weekend, whatever it is, wherever you are, guys. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye.